Hello, welcome to Shad Life. I want to talk about the elephant in the room for a second. Wait, there's no elephant in the room? I want to talk about e-bikes for a second. If you've been following my channel, you all know that I recently got a Santa Cruz Vala, and I'm really excited about it. There are a lot of people out there that don't like e-bikes. They're either anti-e-bike or they don't like the idea of them and so forth. And I fell into that camp, not so much being anti-e-bike. I'll talk a little bit about that, but I personally didn't think I would ever want one, right? I was not interested in owning one, and I'll explain how did I become interested in owning an e-bike, right? And why has my opinion shifted on e-bikes? But in order for me to answer those questions and talk about them, I want to first talk about the different classifications of e-bikes, because that's really important for you to understand if you don't already know this, because that might help you be a little less anti-e-bike if you understand the classifications, or you can be anti some classifications but maybe not the lower classifications. But that's all up to you. I'm not here to change your mind on e-bikes. I just want to talk about them and open up that discussion because it is a heated topic, right? So let's start out with the different classifications. Now, the first three are bicycles, right? They're pedal, they've got cranks, pedals like a traditional bicycle, a traditional drivetrain, usually gears, right? And they have pedal assist. So class 1 is pedal assist only, and there's no throttle or anything. It's pedal assist only, and it'll pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour. The bike can go over 20 miles per hour, but after you hit 20, it's all human powered or gravity powered or whatever. And we well know that you can get over 20 miles per hour on a bike that isn't an e-bike, especially when going downhill, right? So that is class 1. That is what the Santa Cruz Vala is. It's a class 1 e-bike up to 20 miles per hour, right? Assists up to 20 miles per hour. I want to make sure that's clear because the bike can definitely go over, as in all bicycles can go over 20 miles per hour. All right, class 2 e-bike. Again, still a bicycle, still got the crankset and pedaling drivetrain, right? But it has a throttle. Its max assist is 20 miles per hour still. So it's basically a class 1 with a throttle. That makes it a class 2. But you still have pedal assist, right? And then you have class 3. Well, class 3 is when the speed increases. I believe it's up to 28 or 29 miles per hour. I don't know why they don't just say 30 miles per hour. I'm sure they got some weird, goofy reason for it. But it's up to 28 miles per hour, I believe. And that's when the assist cuts off. And I had a Beano Boost, I think it was called. I don't even remember the name. It was a couple of years ago. It was a commuter, and that was a class 3. It didn't have a throttle, but it would pedal assist almost to 30 miles per hour, right? Pretty fun, but you have to kind of be on your toes. So Beano Boost, I think that is what it was called, cargo bike. So those are the 3 classifications, 1, 2, and 3. So those are all bicycles. Now there's kind of this new trend of what I call eMotos. That would be your serverons, right? Those are motorcycles. They're not bicycles. They may have, you know, like downhill mountain bike components on some of them, but by and large, they are motorcycles. They do not have a pedaling drivetrain. I think of something like a Suron or Talaria, no different than like a 50 or 80 cc motocross bike, right? They're motorcycles. They're just electric instead of gas powered. That's really the only difference, right? And they weigh quite a bit more. They're 150, 200 pounds. An e-bicycle can be anywhere from, you know, the lightweight ones, 32, 33 pounds, well, no, more like, sorry, 35 to 40 pounds. And then the full power ones like the Santa Cruz Vala, like 48 to 55 pounds, right? So they're really anywhere from, 10, 15 pounds heavier up to 20 to 25 pounds heavier than a standard bicycle versus an eMoto, which is, 150 to 200 pound motorcycle, right? And they can also go quite a bit faster. They can go like 45 miles per hour. They accelerate quicker. They only have a throttle, right? So those are the different classifications. So don't get eMoto mixed with e-bicycle, right? They're different things, right? And so if you're anti-eMoto on mountain bike trails and on commuter pedestrian trails and things like that, I 100% get it, and I am on your side on that one, right? Those are motorcycles. They should really only be in the streets or on motocross tracks, things like that, or they're on their own dedicated trail systems or whatever. They shouldn't be on mountain bike trails or mountain bike jumps or anything like that. So so that's that. So class 1 e-bike. So pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour. And my bike is just under 20 pounds heavier than the Norco Sight that I just recently built up, right? So why did I suddenly take interest in having an e-bike after not wanting an e-bike, right? Well, it all has to do with going down to Bentonville, meeting some new friends, and getting out on their e-bikes. And the bikes they had, I just wasn't that interested in because they were super heavy, and they were fun, right? But I couldn't like jump and send it very easily on those things or whatever. Where I really got interested is when in the fall, when I was with that same group of friends, and we checked out some demo bikes from the YT demo place they have down there, and rode a couple of YT e-bikes and bombed around Bentonville, and we covered so much ground. And the nice thing was they set up the suspension for me, and it was the right size bike for me and everything like that. So I was having a blast on that bike, and we covered so much more territory than I would cover on a regular bike down there. So that kind of got me to think about it a little bit and go, gosh, an e-bike would be really fun for kind of those epic rides, those epic journeys, and, being out with friends, just trying to cover more ground and explore more areas. That's kind of where I see the advantage of an e-bike. So it got me interested in one. I still wasn't 100% sold, but over the winter, I kind of decided, yeah, I really want to have an e-bike and take it to somewhere like Bentonville, along with a regular bike, because I still want to ride my regular bike. I'm not going to stop riding a regular bike. I'm not making this transition to only riding an e-bike. As far as local trails here, when they start opening up and stuff, and believe it or not, there's a snowstorm happening right now as I'm talking about this. So as much as we had all the snow melt away and we had 50 some degree days, it is March, and sometimes this can be our snowiest month. So we will see how the spring goes, right? But once I can start getting out and riding, as far as my channel goes, I got a couple of things. I got the Norco that I got to get out and test and ride and talk about on my channel. I'm super excited about that bike. I have the Haro Saguaro I want to still ride and talk about. And now I have the new Santa Cruz Vala. So I will probably take that out on some regular trails that I normally ride my regular bike on, like Theodore Worth, maybe Lone Lake. I actually have this idea at Lone Lake with the Santa Cruz Vala because it's a pretty consistent 5-mile loop, or just under 5 miles, and it's got about 500 feet of climbing per lap. I think that's where I'm going to do my range test on. I'm going to do lap after lap after lap until I run out of battery. That's kind of my plan. And so if you're looking forward to seeing a range test, that's what I plan on doing. Is for every 5 miles I'll be doing 500 feet of climbing. And you know, that represents, you know, it doesn't represent like out in a mountainous region and doing, you know, thousands of feet of climbing, but it represents like kind of what that most mountain bike trail experiences will be, right? So I think it'll be a good test. And then I'll ride it probably at Theodore Worth and maybe a couple other trails to talk about it on my channel, but it's not going to be my primary local trail riding bike. Maybe if I'm on a recovery day, an off day or something like that, I might ride it, but by and large I plan to ride my regular bikes on local trails. But I do want to take the Santa Cruz Vala on more epic adventures and probably take it down to Bentonville with me. Might take it up to Cuyuna, might take it up to Duluth, you know, some things like that where I can climb and get to the top of hills and then ride the cool gnarly descents and stuff, which, you know, it has a bit more travel than what I normally like. Like I'm not really into the big travel, but the Santa Cruz Vala is a higher travel bike than say my Norco. My Norco is 140, 130. The Santa Cruz Vala is 160, 150. So to me, that's like, yeah, I can pretty much ride anything with that amount of travel. You know, granted, not the gnarliest of the gnar, but I don't really ride that stuff anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, I'm really excited to ride it in kind of more of those epic places, but I'm still going to ride a regular bike. I'm not transitioning over to e-bikes. And we will see. We will see where it takes me. I have no idea. As far as my opinion on e-bikes, like in general for people, it's like, you know, I think of it, and people have talked to me about this and kind of convinced me, like there's people that, you know, maybe they're not in very good fitness, very good shape. An e-bike is a great way, a great equalizer, a great way for them to get outdoors and get some exercise, because it's still work, right? An e-bike is still work. It's just not as much work. And then somebody that might be disabled or somebody that's older, like I think probably 10, 15 years from now, maybe all I ever will be on is an e-bike, because I'm older and it's the only way I can really get out and keep riding mountain biking, right? I don't know yet. I'm not there. I'm quite impressed with the fact that I'm able to do what I'm doing at my age now. So I might be 70 years old and still rocking it, right? Who knows? But it's kind of scary to think that for me, 70 years old is about 12 years away, 12 years and a couple months away. That's crazy to think about. Anyway, so let's bring me back into the present, working on it. All right. So that is where we're at with e-bikes, right? I'm going to talk a little bit more in another video, because I don't want this one to get too crazy long, because it would if I got on into the subject. I talk a little bit about trails and trail wear and stuff like that. If you've been following my channel, you know that I'm part of the local advocacy group. I have extensive experience in trail building, trail design, trail maintenance, all of that stuff since 2003. But I'll do a separate video on that and kind of how I feel about e-bikes when it comes to trails. But look forward to that video. I will probably want to do that video when I'm actually out on a trail with my bike, because I like to point things out. In the meantime, if you want to see a video I did similar to that, I'll put that link right up in the corner up there of a video I did a couple of years ago talking about trails and trail design and sustainability and all of that stuff. Awesome. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.